He's making progress. I mean, it's a matter of the speed of the game. It's his amount of volume of the reps that he takes and so forth, in which how his overall strength's holding up. But he's doing a good job, and there's progress being made, and there's no real timeline set on anything, but he's making strides.
Just looking back on film, what did you see from that Chattanooga game in terms of things to build on?
Just not as sharp as we needed to be, fundamentally, technically. Not happy with it at all. There's things that we didn't do that could have allowed some opportunities for some things to be there. Chattanooga did some good things against us, in which taking nothing away from them, but it wasn't by any means a game in which we played to the standard we expect, and that part of it was very frustrating. The players realized that. Fortunate enough to win and still build off some of the things that we needed to correct, but not acceptable.
Was it a step down from what you played against Florida,
yeah.
you think? Or?
Yeah, it was. By our standards and exactly how I feel, I wasn't pleased with the way we played and the manner in which we played. So that's been addressed this week, and we've gone about it the right way, but it's not to our standard.
Was there any particular area that was worse?
No, just collectively. It's just, it's a game of always five guys playing on the same page. All the things that should be happening that need to happen in terms of landmarks, footwork, the surface of the defender in which we're blocking, communication, the physicality, all those things is just, at this point in time, it's not any one person. It's just collectively as a group, it wasn't where it needed to be, and that part was very frustrating.
When you have a young group like this, how do you balance, trying to encourage them while also kind of needing tough love at times, and how do you balance when to encourage, when to kind of get on them?
It's a great question. It's really more of a feel thing, and I think that is something that you pride yourself as a coach to know, kind of like a parent, as to when to show the tough love and when to discipline and all those type of things, and knowing when time is right to do that. And I know this. I've been doing this long enough that these guys need to be corrected. They need to be addressed in a manner in which this is acceptable, this isn't acceptable, and good job and so forth. But I think it's all a timing, and it depends on who, and each guy being a little bit different in their personalities. But yesterday was a day in which there were some certain things that went on that I addressed them in a manner in which the tough love came at them, because again, I remind them that Saturday wasn't acceptable. We need to improve, and so I felt it was time to turn it up.
How'd they respond today?
They came out today and had a much better day. A lot in which more so, when it comes to necessarily the execution, it's more of just the maturity of the manner in which we do things. And like I said, we need to play well as a group, all right? And we have at times where maybe there's a play that is a tackle for a loss, or maybe there's a breakdown that occurs, and it might be one guy. But that one guy on that given play, the result's the result. It's a lost yardage play. It's a terrible feeling. It's all those things. Well, we can't have that. At the end of practice, there were some things that we needed to clean up that I addressed at the end of practice. I said, here's where negative things happen. A penalty here, a poor snap, all those things that you can't have happen, especially against a quality opponent that we're going to see this week. So, and again, they've been that all year long, coachable. They want to be coached hard, but it's a good question that you ask, and it's just more of a timing of when you address it.
You talked about them not playing up to standards. How do you balance, wanting to make changes and corrections and maybe lineup moves with, just keeping those five in there and just getting them kind of continuity and improvement as a group?
Yeah, you still, watch the practices, and there's guys that are, again, making strides. Brett Kendrick, Austin Sanders, Dylan Wiseman, but still to the point to where there's a lot of shuffling to go on. It's still a decision made by us as a coaching staff, and what I see each and every day, and that I don't want to get into where we're just shuffling the lineup and all that stuff. It's again still collectively as a group playing better. But some guys have been, they know that there's guys that are improving, and their play every day is being evaluated, and they're working to improve their play.
Where's their confidence level at right now? I know that Butch got on them pretty hard after the Florida game, and then it seemed like they rebounded nicely versus UT Chattanooga. But where is the confidence level of your unit right now?
I don't think it's, really, I don't think it's high at all. It's hard not to take notice of, what's being said and those type of things, and I tell them to just block it all out in terms of outside of hearing all that stuff, because again, I know the hard work that they're putting in. I know how much it's important to them, the efforts that they're making and all the things that they're trying to do to play as well as they can play. It hasn't quite happened yet, but when things occur in a game and there's a negative yardage play or there's a sack that occurs, it's the nature of the beast. It points to one direction. Well, there's and it's a good question. I mean, it's one in which I'm not going to handle it with patting them on the back and let's go, hey, pick your heads up, let's grow up. Your body language needs to be such and in a manner in which it's not acceptable, but you know what, let's come back to the next play, let's snap and clear. But it's not a high confidence level, and the only way they gain the confidence is by playing better and believing in first themselves and then the unit, and that's what we're working towards, and the leadership and all those things coming through. So it's a process. And we're at the midway point. We're not where we need to be, and it's got to get better.
You look at their defensive line, sack totals really aren't anything overwhelming, but you look at the scoring defense, and obviously they're getting the job done. Just what stands out about that D-line?
They're really active. They're playing with tremendous confidence, feeding off of each other. There's no weakness to us really in their defense, in the fact that their front's an outstanding front. Their linebacking core is solid, and their secondary is exceptional. So, with that being said, I think they all play off of each other well. Play with the high motor, enthusiasm, and obviously they're feeding off of the momentum that they've established for themselves the last couple of weeks. So, it's as big a challenge as we have to date.
Don, you referenced the consistency among those five and how important it is. How important is it also for consistency in the message that they get from you guys as coaches?
Absolutely, and that's the thing, is that and being with Coach Jones for the time that I've been with him, and Mike Bajakian and quite a few others, is you're exactly right. The message being consistent, and again, the relationship that you build with your guys and being real with, hey, here's the bottom line, here's what we need to correct, here's why things aren't happening the way we want them. And they understand that, and they know that, and again, knowing your room and knowing the climate of the room, and the fact that there's guys that, hey, they don't want to be patted on the back and say, hey, we'll be okay. No, here's what we need to correct. So, I think that's really important, that you're knowing the temperament and handling in the right manner.
Take a couple more. Good.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.